Hello. How's everybody doing on a nice Tuesday evening? It's nice to be streaming at a normal hour, not later at night when I'm half asleep. What's going on, everybody? How are we on this lovely Tuesday? I'm gonna give a few minutes, let people roll in here. I forgot to put it on the calendar, so people are probably like, "What are you doing? It's not time." So I'll wait a few minutes and then we'll get started on the topic. So we're gonna be talking the actual official community tank talk tonight. Whereas last week, I had that issue with the colleague at work that I had to stay with because we didn't know what was going on. So that's why I wasn't here last week on time. But tonight we're on time. All you people that complain when I'm not on time. So hello. So yeah, we're actually gonna have an official talk about community tanks tonight. I consider myself a community tank person. Aside from my, beta tanks, all of my tanks I would consider are community tanks in some way or another. I always have more than one type of fish in all my tanks, except, betas. And even the beta tanks, I throw other stuff in, at least snails in those with them. So, yes, Oink Master, hello. I always see you in all the other chats, so I'm glad you finally got to make it over here to one of mine. I hope to see you at the Clash and meet you. Enjoy your stay at the Airbnb. Oh no, I'm sorry, Young Master. I hope your relative it gets better. And then it's not too serious, and they'll be all good to go soon here. So also, hello, Mark and Garden and Allison and Minoski. Hello. Yes, I did. Thank you for the hair. I just did that about an hour and a half ago. I am too cheap to pay $20 for a haircut, but I will drop $500 on fish. So we got the 40 behind me here. You can see it's got nice mulm and stuff in it. There's a couple guppies in there because I didn't get them all out when I was pulling them. But that's what we got the fish for. We've got a bunch of different tetras. We've got a pencil fish and then something that's kind of like a pencil fish going in there. And then there will be a puffer or puffers going in there as well. Got some curry cats. So it should be a fun tank overall. That's all coming from Wet Spot out in Oregon. Doing a nice order with them. I've got some Danios and stuff for the community tank as well. I've got a mess of plants coming in from Wet Plants. I got the mystery plants from them back in January. Love them. So I'm doing a big order. When I say big, I mean like $400 worth of plants. It's a lot. So, Also, hello, Ben and Peplin. So that's what's going on there. We got our bristlenose plecos growing up nicely in that tank. This little guy here, he's a cutie. Hello, Eduardo. I feel like I haven't seen you in my streams in a while. I hope you're doing well. It was fun hanging out with you Sunday night on Skipper's stream. Getting to know you a little better. Looking forward to the Clash. See Eduardo, see Oink Master, see all the awesome people up at the Clash coming up. Also, speaking of events, Aquaticon is April 30th. That's the last Saturday of this month. If you're in the Tennessee area, or you're a crazy person like me and is going to drive 12 hours to get down there, definitely check it out. They asked us to spread the word. So if you haven't heard of Aquaticon yet, definitely go check Aquaticon out. You can just go on Aquatic Marine's website. They have a tab there. You can search Aquaticon or bring you to their Facebook page or the Aquatic Marine tab. It's all there. Just do a quick Google and you're good to go. So I'm going to wait another couple minutes here, let people roll in, and then we're going to get started on the talk. I want to thank everybody again for something else. So my videos don't usually do great. Yeah, they get about 30 to 50 views all the time. Y'all kind of killed it with the 5-gallon stocking video the other day. At current, we're at over 546 views. So thank you all very much for the support on that video. It means a lot. Thank you very much on that one. Hello, Carrie. Hello, Degenerate. Changing his name to Depths Unknown. That's going to throw me off. Oh, okay, Eduardo. Well, I hope everything's okay there. We're on spring break in my school, so I get the whole week off. Yeah, so I've been wanting to go to Aquaticon now since James first started talking about it. So I'm kind of super happy that it's finally officially happening and I can actually go. I'm supposed to be rooming with Ed. I have not heard from him saying he's not going, so I'm hoping he's going because otherwise I don't have a place to stay. But I understand if he can't go because it's recovering. So tonight we are going to be talking about community tanks. And again, I love community tanks. All of my tanks except for bettas are all communities in my opinion. So I'm going to flip the screen here. Also, hello, Jimmy P. Well, boom. Look at that. Look at that tech magic there. I'm showing off my OBS skills. Now, I could put myself in a circle if I really wanted to. I do have the ability to do this. Oh, we're in a circle now, boys. So yeah, Whip World, hello. Glad the fish food from Macari got there to you. That was a lot more food than I was expecting. So I'm hoping your fish are enjoying the foods. All right, so community tanks. What are community tanks? So community tank, we got species only versus a community. So what does that mean? Species only tank, you're really only going to be keeping one species of fish in that tank. So if you want to do a massive amount of yellow labs, we'll go with them for an example. That would be a species only tank. You're only going to do one fish in that tank, one species of fish, one type of fish. I'm going to use the word species loosely because to me, can be used in two different ways. So we got species only versus community. Well, then what's a community tank? Community tanks are several different species of fish in one tank. So we'll keep with African cichlids. I have the yellow labs. I have the manganos. I have the rusties. I have the lion's cove. I have all these different types of mbunas. They're all similar, but they're all still different to me species of fish. You know, in the scientific world, the taxonomy, that's the word I was looking for. They're all similar, but they're all different to me. So I'm going to consider that a community tank. You've got 20 different kinds of tetras in a tank. They might all be tetras, but they're all different types of tetras. So that to me is the difference between species only and community. So we just talked about same species, different type. I'm going to call those like hybrid community tanks because if you got lemon tetras and serpe tetras and silver tips cardinals, they're all tetras, but they're all still different fish. They're not all the one kind of fish. If you just had all lemon tetras in there, I would consider that a species only. Typically, I would only do species only if you're trying to breed. So that's just me. But I would consider all different kinds of tetras in a tank to be a community. All right, so what do you need for a community tank? I don't know why I have what is, but what do you need for a community tank? Compatible fish. You're not going to be putting an Oscar with a tetra because the Oscar will just eat the tetra if it's, like a cardinal or something. I wouldn't put those together. I wouldn't be putting a bunch of male bettas together. So you have to look at temperament of your fish. Are you going to be getting all peaceful fish to go in your community tank? Or are you going to be getting a mix of peaceful, semi-aggressive, and even aggressive fish? How do you find a happy medium among your different fish in your tank is one of the big things with community tanks. It's a balancing act. You can get some fish that are considered semi-aggressive or aggressive fish and put them with a tank of all peaceful fish and things will be fine. You just have to make sure the environment of the tank and the way it's set up is conducive to holding those fish and dealing with their temperaments and the little quirks. Water parameters is another thing you have to look at heavily with community tanks. You need to make sure that the fish you have ranges wide enough to be able to be housed together. So you need to make sure that your tetras can go with some African fish, or that your live bearers can go with your tetras. You got to make sure the range is acceptable for everything. Technically, I shouldn't be able to have guppies with my tetras and my rasboras and stuff, because guppies are supposed to be at a slightly higher pH with a little bit harder water. I have, again, acidic water, low pH, soft, but I can keep guppies with a bunch of other stuff. So you're kind of mixed matching things from different regions, finding that balancing act between water parameters and temperament to see what you can just put with your fish, if that makes sense. Time. Community tanks are way more time consuming than a species only tank. You need to be on top of your maintenance. You need to be observing that tank for aggression, observing that tank for illness. You just need to be watching that tank a lot, especially when you first add fish and you're first setting it up, when you first add a new fish. They take a lot of time to find the right balance on everything. So if you notice there's aggression with your fish, you have to find a way to curb it. Do you pull the aggressive fish out, or do you mix something up with the decor so that the fish can have a spot that they can claim as their own territorial-wise and will be okay? And also, you're keeping the tank clean. You got a lot more fish, a lot of different fish, a lot of different foods, a lot of different waste levels. Fish, they poop different rates. Some fish, it's like water. It just goes right in them and comes out the other end. Some fish don't poop as much. So, it's maintenance also comes into play with that time factor as well. Research. This goes back up to that compatible fish part. You want to get a bunch of tetras. Most tetras have a similar, range for temperature, pH, and all that good jazz, water chemistry. But you still should look at each fish individually. Look and see the regions these fish come from, what the local if they're wilds, look at what the local water is like. Look at what the pHs are. If you have fish that, say you get a bunch of tetras and you have fish that take a 5.5 pH, but can go up to a 7. You have fish that take a 6.0, a 6.5. As long as you're somewhere within that range for the fish, you're going to be fine. So just remember, look at the fish you're getting. You can mix and match, and you can do North American fish with Central and South American fish and throw in some African fish as well. You just have to find the happy medium and make sure that your water parameters in that tank are somewhere within the happy median for all those fish, that they will get along just fine. So again, I'm going to do the talk first and then questions and stuff. I'm seeing the chat, but I'm going to hold, that stuff for after. Sorry about that, y'all. But hello, everyone that came in since I started. Water level. That's another thing you have to look at. All fish have different areas of the tank they're going to stay in. You've got your top water, your mid, and your bottom, generally speaking. Some fish don't care. Danios, all over the place. White cloud minnows, all over the place. Some barbs, like rosy barbs, aren't going to care. They're going to be all over the place too. Bala sharks, I have never, had good luck with them, but they're going to be a big shark. They don't care either. They'll go everywhere. Top water fish, you're looking at like betta fish, half beaks, hatchets, things like that. You got your mid and top, ones that could go either way. Some tetra species, bloodfins, congos, guppies are going to like the top, but then they're going to sleep on the bottom. It's kind of weird. Gouramis are going to like top to mid. Rainbow fish are also going to like that top to mid range. Rasboras, same thing. Mollies, top to mid. Pencilfish, swordtails, they're going to like that top to mid area. Ones that are just going to want to stay in that mid range. You got your different tetras, your black phantoms, your bleeding hearts, your glow light tetras, your phantom tetras, your platies. Those guys are going to want to stay more in the mid level of your tank. Tiger barbs, red eye tetras, rummy nose tetras, glowfish, going to want to stay in that middle range of your tank. Then you get into the mid to bottom level fish. Most of your algae eaters are going to be the mid to bottom. So my Siamese algae eater, I very rarely see him at the top of the tank. He's always mid-level to bottom. Clown loaches going to stay mostly on the bottom. Cardinal tetras and neon tetras actually prefer mid to bottom level of your tank. Yes, they'll come up for food, but if you ever notice, they're hanging out toward the bottom more if you actually observe them. Your rams are going to like the bottom to low level as well. Now, fish that just like the bottom level of the tank, it's going to be mostly your catfish. All your cory cats are going to prefer the bottom. Pygmies, mid to bottom. Pygmies really don't care. I've seen them all over my tank. So most of your cory species are going to stay at the bottom. Your plecos are going to stay at the bottom. Some of your loach species, like coolie loaches, are going to stay at the bottom. Two-spot catfish is going to stay more at the bottom. So, just water level is a thing you have to think about, which you wouldn't think. Normally, you're not going to think about it because you're just going to put fish in the tank. But if you have too many fish, they're going to occupy the top and mid-level and not a lot that's going to occupy the bottom. It's not going to work out because then there's going to be territorial and aggression problems. So that's just something you have to look at. Foods. Most community fish are going to be omnivores. You don't have to worry about this. This is going to come into effect when you have fish that are microorganism predators, like some of your killifish. They're looking for microcrustaceans and microorganisms in the tank. So you have to supplement your typical community foods with something like bug bites or something else that's going to give them that insectivore food they're looking for and stuff like that. The predatory versus prey issue. Some fish are natural predators. Other ones are natural prey. Now, this is going to come in more for like wild caught stuff than store-bought farm fish. But some fish have this inherent predatory nature that if it's feeding time, a switch can just flip like that, and they're going to go hunt down your fish. This is going to come into play like if you're doing a lot of nano fish and you throw in something that's a little bigger. Those small nanofish like Chili rasboris, I have a group of them. They were hiding in my guppy grass. My guppy grass started to die. When that died off, some of the bigger tetras were, eating them. So unfortunately, I lost them. It just happens. I could not course correct the guppy grass or get something else in there. So I unfortunately lost my little school of Chili rasboris because they're naturally a prey fish. So it's something to think about that you don't normally think about when you're setting up these tanks. All right, tank size for community tanks. If my thing is going to be whatever size works for you. If you're a beginner, I would recommend a smallest for beginners. I'm going to say a 29/30 gallon tank. I was going to put 20, but I switched it to 29/30 because it gives you just a bit more wiggle room with regards to stocking. Now, I usually do 20 gallons for everything. This is my favorite size tank until I found the 40 breeder. A 30 gallon is going to give you a little bit more wiggle room, size and water volume wise, to get a bit more fish for your community tank, stocking wise. So if you're a beginner and you want to try a community tank, go with a 30 if you have the option to. You could probably go with a 20, but I'm going to say try a 30. For me, that's the smallest size I would recommend. Anything for someone doing a community tank for the first time. Now, smallest size overall, 10-gallon tank is what I'm going to say. I have a 10-gallon community tank. It's got 2 different types of Danios in it. I have a betta fish. I have a honeygourami. I have snails, and I have cories in it. That's 6 different species in a 10-gallon tank. I have a group of 5 cories. I have a group of 7 Danios total, so that's 12. The betta and the honeygourami makes 15, plus the snails. So I have 15 plus fish in a 10-gallon community tank, and it does fine. Of course, it's heavily planted, which we'll talk about later. So smallest I would say you can get away with a community is a 10. 5 gallons, I just did that 5-gallon stock video. There's really no way to do a community tank in a 5. Even with a betta fish and some tank mates, I wouldn't do it. That's just me. Because really in tank mates for a betta, I'm just going to throw ram's horn snails in. Not going to go crazy. So 10 gallons is the smallest size I would recommend to anybody do a community tank with. I hit the wrong button. All right, what fish go in a community tank? Most fish can, but starting out, it really is going to depend on that tank size. Now, typically, when we think of community tanks, we're looking for a couple things. We're looking at non-aggressive species. They're going to be able to share that aquarium space peacefully and not get aggressive. Now, we're typically looking at most live bearers, so guppies, platies, mollies, your dwarf gouramis, tetras, things like that. But they don't have to all come from the same place. Like I said, you can mix and match things. But it really is going to depend on the tank size. So some typical community fish that we have are non-aggressive species, like we mentioned. Peaceful fish. So some examples for these. Again, these are going to be mostly tetras, rasboras, things of that nature that aren't going to, be overly aggressive. So you got your tetras. Neons, lemons, serpes, things like that are going to be great community tank mates for beginners or longtime people in the hobby. They're all beautiful fish. So those are my examples for tetras. You got your rasboras. I don't think I've ever met an evil rasbora. Harlequins, scissortails, emerald eyes, solid fish. You're not going to have a problem with them either. Gouramis. I put honey gouramis because I've heard some bad things with the powdered blues, the pearls. I've heard bad things about everybody. My honey gourami has been the sweetest fish ever. It gets along with the betta fish. So gouramis, some gouramis. Bettas, some betta fish as well. Who is texting me? Danios are another great community fish. They're also a bulletproof fish that are extremely hard to kill. Live bearers. So, your guppies, your platies, your mollies, your swordtails. Now, swordtails, so some of these, I should have put an asterisk next to them. Most fish are going to be fine that are on this example list, but there can be an issue where fish's temperaments can change. So if you don't know that a fish is going to be okay, have a backup plan. If you get a betta fish in there that's a bad fish, pull it, put it in its own tank. Same with a gourami. Mollies, I've known some jerk mollies. So keep an eye on your mollies. Keep an eye on your swordtails too. I've heard some aggression issues out of swordtails as well. So all fish really are fine. It's just temperaments can change. You don't know the personality of fish. All fish are different. So fish temperaments in a community tank. We're going to run through the different kinds of aggression levels. Of course, we're going to start at the top with aggressive fish. Aggressive fish are going to be fish that are going to fight for food and resources and territories in your tank. They're not going to care. They're just going to go and fight. As I said, goes in the name, aggressive fish. These are going to be fish that just go. They don't care that they're in a tank with other fish. They're going to go for that food. They're going to go for the territory they want in the tank. They're not going to give two craps about everybody else. Semi-aggressive fish. These are the fish that, for the most part, will be your docile fish. They can be happy hanging out in their corner. Sometimes, if there's food, they could get a little trigger happy and go crazy and maybe nip at somebody. But for the most part, they're going to be docile, do their own thing. If they feel threatened, so if your tank is too small for a semi-aggressive fish, good examples of these are rainbow sharks, redfin sharks, albino redfins, things like that. These guys are considered semi-aggressive because they can be fine in a community setting, but then all of a sudden, they could go crazy. I hear the dog. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. All right. So yeah, semi-aggressive fish. Rainbow sharks are a good example of this. They can be fine, but if they feel threatened because they don't have enough space and someone encroaches on it, that switch will flip and their aggressive tendencies are going to come out. Peaceful fish. These are the guys that tolerate other inhabitants in the tank, couldn't care less about them. Most of your Corydoras would be considered a peaceful fish. Regardless, they're going to hang out and do their own thing, not care at all. Your shrimp, same thing. They're going to sit on the bottom, not give two craps. They're just going to go about their business. All right. Some examples of aggressive fish. We have tiger barbs, but can still be in community tanks as long as you have enough of them. So tiger barbs is a weird fish. As long as you have a big enough group of fish for tiger barbs, you get a nice big school of tiger barbs. There's not going to be as much aggression if you only had like 3 or 4. If you only got 3 or 4, they're going to go at everything in the tank because they're crazy. So if you get a big enough group, they can be in a community setting. Pea puffers. I have heard that some pea puffers are extremely aggressive. You can keep them by themselves. You can keep them in a group. I've heard people keep them in community tanks. It's just all about the environment of the tank. You need lots of things to break line of sight with these pea puffers so they don't become murder machines and kill everything. Flower horns. You look at community tank mates for flower horns, really not much you can put with them other than plecos. So flower horns definitely considered an aggressive fish. Your various Central and South American cichlids as well as African cichlids. It's hit or miss with these guys. You can have some that are peaceful. You can have some that are extremely killing machines. You just have to do some research, find out what they're looking for out of their environment, and try and give them the best environment they can have in your tank, and you might be able to get away with it. All right, semi-aggressive fish. So again, these are the ones that are normally docile, but something can change in the tank environment that's going to make them go crazy. Sharks. So these are your bala sharks, your rainbow sharks, your redfin sharks. They can be peaceful given the right environment in the tank. If there's not enough space for them, if the tank is too small, if there's not enough food, their flip will switch and they'll go at stuff. You might have to feed them in a separate corner of the tank. You might have to get a bigger tank, give them more areas to, call their own. I've seen some people that have a designated area for feeding some of these fish. It's just got to work it out. African cichlids, again, hit or miss. I would consider mbunas to be considered semi-aggressive. If there's not enough of them, similar to tiger barbs, they'll be aggressive towards each other, and then you're going to have problems. Big enough group, I'm going to call them semi-aggressive. They'll occasionally go at each other for territory. So with them, same thing. Lots of line of sight breaks, lots of places in their tank they can call their own. Make sure there's enough food for everybody. They're going to be semi-aggressive and docile for the most part. Angelfish. These are ones, they really only become jerks when they're breeding. If they're starting to lay eggs, they're going to want to defend those eggs, and they will go at other fish that come near them. So just keep an eye on them. Gouramis and bettas. Now, I would consider them more peaceful than aggressive, but I put them on the semi-aggressive side because some species of gouramis and some betta fish are just assholes. They're going to go at anything and want to go and kill them. I had a betta fish, gave him some ram's horn snails. He literally was pulling the snails out of the shell to eat them. So I would consider an aggressive fish. So I put them on semi-aggressive because it all depends on the fish and the temperament of these fish. These are just fish that can go either way. Some betta fish are going to be peaceful, passive, don't give two craps about anything. Other ones, on the other hand, are going to be more aggressive and go at things and flare at things way more often. So keep an eye on them. If you need to, pull them, put them in other tanks. Plecos. I put plecos as semi-aggressive because there have been cases where plecos, if not given enough food, get a taste for slime coat. There are some horror stories of plecos getting on goldfish and sucking the slime coat off the fish. And then once they get it, it's like the taste for blood. They just want that and nothing else the rest of the time. It's more rare than some things, but some plecos can be aggressive territorial-wise. So just keep an eye on them as well. Bichers, I put as semi-aggressive because, again, some people have said they keep them in community settings. Everybody gets along. Other people said they tried it and they can't. So it's all going to come down to the temperament of that fish. All right, we're going to look at the peaceful fish. These are fish that you could throw in the tank and not really have to care about killing other things. Most tetras. I put most tetras because the bucktooth, the vampire tetra, those are not nice tetras. But most of your typical tetras you're going to get at the store, like your neons, your serpes, your lemons, your priscillae, your lampi, your bloodfins, your cardinals, they're going to be fine in the community and not care at all. Corridors. I've only ever once experienced corridors being jerks. For the most part, these guys are going to hang out at the bottom of the tank, not give two craps about anybody else as long as you feed them. They're really not going to be aggressive in any way and attack things. Rasboras, same thing. I've not met a species of Rasbora that is mean. I have, of course, not kept all of them, but Harlequin Rasboras, Scissortail, Emerald, Celestial Pearl, Danios, which aren't really Rasboras, but they were at one point considered them. All fish that are fine. Danios, Zebra Danios, the Kiatha Danios, every Danio really is not going to be aggressive. They're just going to be going a mile a minute into that tank. They're more active than aggressive, but you should be fine with them. Otto catfish, same thing. They're not going to give two craps about anybody else in that tank. Shrimp, I mean, come on. Unless you get like a random crawfish that's going to be mean and eat your fish, your Neos, your Caridinas, your ghost shrimp, your Hermanos, your bamboo shrimp, those are all nice, peaceful community fish tanks. So some simple community stocking ideas. We're almost at the end of this, and then I'll start interacting with chat a bit more. So some of your simple community stocking ideas, if you want to try one and you've never done it before. For a 10-gallon tank, something nice and simple you can do is a honey gourami, some Emerald Rasboras, and a few Nerite snails. You're going to have a nice yellow fish in there with this green fish with a nice emerald eye, and then you're going to nice cleanup crew and the Nerites. That's easy enough to do. 1 gourami, 6 of the Rasboras, and 3 or 4 Nerites. That's a perfect 10-gallon tank right there. Nice little community tank for those wanting to start in a community. For a 20-gallon tank, something simple you can do is a betta fish, a school of 5 or 6 neons, school of 5 or 6 harlequins, and a bristlenose pleco. Perfect, simple tank, nice color contrast there. You can pick a cool looking betta. Worst case, you got to pull the betta fish out, put it in a 5, get a different betta fish. Give it another try with somebody else. All right. For a 29/30 gallon, get a couple different kinds of tetras, couple different kinds of Rasboras, and then throw some Cory cats in there. So get 5 or 6 lemon tetras, 5 or 6 serpe tetras. Get a group of 10 Harlequin Rasboras or some Scissortail Rasboras. Get a group of like 7 pepper Corys. That's going to be a nice tank that someone just starting out can try. And all those fish are going to be easy to care for and not have super bad issues with, dying off on you. For a 40 breeder, just go with a live bearers. Throw a bunch of different kinds in there. Throw guppies, mollies, and platies in a tank. Didn't put swordtails on here because in that situation, swordtails might be eating people's fry. So get a couple different pairs of guppies, a couple pairs of mollies and platies. Let them go crazy. Let them breed like crazy. Your tank will be overrun before you know it, and it'll still look nice if you plant it up. 55-gallon. I went simple here. African cichlids. Do yourself a group of mbunas. Get a bunch of different kind of mbunas. You'll have a nice rainbow in your tank. You'll be good to go. In a 55, you could probably get away with a group about 20 to 25 mbunas. Maybe a little more if you want to throw some more in there. Mbunas, again, try and get ones. Stay under 5 inches. They're not going to get super big. 55-gallon tank, nice starting one for them. And you're going to have a nice, nice tank. And it'll just look nice. So here's some, again, examples of if you want to start a simple community tank with not getting and breaking the bank, you'll be good to go with some of these options. All right. Final thoughts here. They are time consuming. So make sure if you want to do a bunch of community tanks, you have the time to commit to them because you will have to keep an eye on the fish. Look for illness. Look for any signs of distress in the fish. Then you're going to have to test your water. Find out what's off that's making that fish distressed. You might have to pull the fish. You might have to put fish in time out. You have to look for aggression issues. So just keep an eye on it. They are, again, very time consuming. Fish size. Some of these fish are going to get bigger than others. So look at the fish when you get them. They might all come in at 1 or 2 inches, but just check. See what the average size of that fish is, because you don't want to have a bunch of 3/4 inch rasbora chilies in there and then get something big come in like a molly that's going to eat them because they are small enough. So just keep an eye on that. The number of fish. You can easily overstock and overwhelm yourself when you're starting in community tanks. Start out with simple 5 sets of 5. If you have a 20, do 5 of one tetra, 5 of another tetra, 5 rasboras, 5 cory cats. Start at a 20 fish. If you can handle that and the bioload's okay, add some more. So just watch the number of fish, because you can very easily overstock a community tank. Check aggression. Keep an eye on aggressive fish in your tank. This is going to be a constant vigil. Lights are off. Keep an eye on that tank, because that's when you're going to notice a lot of aggression. Environmental requirements. This is going to come into play more if they are wild caught fish, but still some with farm bred. Look at what their natural environment is. Look if it's a fish that requires a lot of rock work or requires some type of driftwood you hide behind. What kind of plants can break line of sight? Do they need caves? Do they need rock structures? Things like that are what you're going to want to look at. Live plants. Plant the heck up out of your tanks. It's going to help give you a wide berth with nitrate levels and other things in your tank. Just simple plants. Anubiases will be fine. You can get a bunch of Anubias. They're going to help keep those nitrate levels down. Clean water. Plants are going to help with clean water. Make sure your water is clean. If you don't have clean water, it's not going to go well for you, because your fish aren't going to be healthy. And again, you got a lot of fish. Also, hello to anybody that has come in. We're almost done, and then I'll be talking to Jack more. But hello, everybody. Observe. Just sit there and watch your fish. Enjoy the tanks. Enjoy the community tank that you have built from the ground up with all your different fish in it. Medicines. Keep a standard antibiotic and antiparasite on hand, just in case things go wrong. Because with all these different fish in there, you don't know what might happen with them. And that is all that I have, everybody. So thank you all for listening to me ramble about community tanks. So hello, I can now talk to chat more. Hi, how's everybody doing? Thank you for coming to my TED Talk today. What's going on? I see Christine's Amazing Animals came in. Thank you for stopping by there, Christine. Christina, my bad. MNC, hello, hello. Canastillo, how's it going? New local, Austin. Levi, I saw you sneak in there. I think I saw Leo sneak in too. Hello. So if you have any questions for me, now would be the time to throw those in chat. We got about 20 more minutes here. That inevitably took a little longer than I thought, but hi, I'm here now. All right. Hi. That was a lot of words all in a row. I can talk a lot, so I need the bullet points to go through while I talk. Trimac with the Dovai worked for a while till the Dovai beat the snot out of it. Oh, dear. Danny, what's going on? Danny been on that count a lot these days. Saw her the other day in someone's chat as well. So, yeah, thank you for the compliments on the haircut. I did it myself. I got tired of the long hair and being too unruly, so I did the sides. I did the back. I left some on the top. Normally, I would just get a high and tight or a buzz, and it'd be all over the place. So Winkmaster, I saw you talking a bunch about tanks and stuff. If you want to mention that and just at me, let me know, and we can help and discuss stuffs. I actually just got a box delivered, so I'm going to open that real quick and see what we got. It is sadly not fish, but I think it's fish-related stuff. So yeah, that's kind of going to be how the format of the show is going to go. If it's just me, I'm going to try and do a slideshow. and just do like, bullet point talk about things. So we got a nice big comment from Eduardo here saying, been keeping community tanks for 40 years, including betas. Our community tanks need a lot of observation during the startup period. Yes, definitely when you first start them. So like with this 40 breeder, when I add those fish, I'm going to have the lights off when I add them. And then I'm just going to keep an eye on everybody. Figure it out, just check, make sure everything's okay. Let's see. Scotty's got something here. What are some community fish that will breed and fry will survive? Mollies. The molly fry come out big enough, and as long as you have plant cover, they're going to be fine. Platies, they'll be fine. Corridors typically will be fine as well if they start breeding in your community tank. Guppies, I've had guppies breed in community tank. They do fine as well. The bigger things, not your smaller fish, but your fish that come out with slightly bigger fry in them. So things like that. Yes, extreme. Okay, so I finally caved and got some of these smart Wi-Fi light thingies because with the new tank, I don't want to be, flipping and turning that on and off all the time. So I got these cool new Wi-Fi things off Amazon, which as far as I am aware, yes, I love me some extreme foods. I can get these blasted things open. So yeah, you just you plug it in, and it hooks up to your phone through an app. And yeah, I don't have an Alexa, so good try. I'm just gonna program them all through my phone. Don't have to worry about it. I also want my air conditioner on one because I need the old ass timer for my other tank. And yes, Extreme, love it. Extreme, Hikari, and Bug Bites are my 3 go-to companies that I constantly talk about, so I'm sure people are tired of hearing me talk about them. Let's see. What did Eduardo say? Community tank is the best tank in my collection. Really, do I have seasonal tanks? You did great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Eduardo. Yeah, I list those tanks too. Community tanks are my favorite because you can put so much more in them. And I just think you get a lot more out of it because you get more of enjoyment out of it. You can spend 20 minutes looking at your Harlequin school and then look over and look at your Cardinal school. It's just great, I think. Let's see. In my 45 hex soon to be guppy colony, 4 Cory cats. Except for would anybody dare to put at least one? I mean, you can put a pair of angels in a community tank as long as they have their own section of the tank to get to and breed. You'd be fine. It's not a big deal. What can look like ick but get worse over several days? There's velvet. I think velvet looks kind of like ick. And then there was a bad bacterial infection going around a few months ago, and I can't remember what it was. Does anyone remember what Dee Dee had with her fish? Because she had something that looked like ick but wasn't ick. I guess I could look in my book, but I also got a big thing of aquarium salt. Oof. And then some Seachem tabs I'm going to put Seachem tabs and aquarium co-op tabs in the new tank for my stem plants. So yeah. Also, hello, Fish Dreams. How's it going? Actually, I think I can look at my book here. Where did it go? Looks like ick, but isn't ick. Let me peruse my book here. And, F-less. Yeah, that thing. Whatever color Guppy said. Let me see if that's in here. Let me see if that is in here, and I can tell you what this book says. Yep, it is 152. 152. Okay. Wait, that's not the right page. What? Index. Did you lie to me? It says it's on here, but I don't see it. Maybe the page number was off. Yeah, it's a whole book on different diseases and stuff. But the page it told me to go to, it's not there unless I'm not reading it right. So yeah, velvet is one. So this is what velvet looks like. Does it look like this? Is that what it looks like on your fish, Texas fish? I've kept bettas with guppies and they've been okay. Hey, my loud neighbor's home. I might be adopting attention as well, but I'm looking to see if I can find the other. Looks more granule. I'm looking. Looking to see if I can find the other thing. Because I went to the page it told me to go to, and unfortunately it didn't have it. You got an octopus? Cool. Very uniform and crystalline. Like, okay, I'll keep looking. If anyone else has, hello, my Fish Tanks Aquatics. What's going on? Mike M, hello. How's it going? Looking to see if I can find mostly on the fins. Okay. We're looking. Because, again, I don't know why that thing is not showing the right page, which kind of irks me a little bit. Have feeling like guppy with Molly Platies and German Blue Rams. Where's like, okay. But yeah, it definitely all depends on the betta fish. If I missed anything, I apologize. Please tag me if you would like so I don't miss anything. I'm still looking because yeah, I remember it being a broad spectrum antibiotic kind of thing. But I don't know why it's not showing up in here. Like, it has the page, but then I went to that page and it was telling me it was tumors. Texas Fish, what have you done for it? In particular. Yeah, because it's not showing up and it's pissing me off. Treated with Ikex. Okay, yeah, I maybe try hitting it with a broad spectrum antibiotic. Throw some salt in there if you don't have the antibiotic. Maybe add a little API stress coat, just there's something else in there, and make sure your water's clean. So do a water change. Keep things nice. Ooh, got 2 new killifish to breed in my cub today. Fun to look patching them right in here. I feel like I want to say that second one I've seen. Do I have those? No, I don't. Yeah, those first ones look amazing. The world of killifish is so fun. I kind of want to get more. There's just so many awesome killifishes. It's been 5 days since I started treatment. Normally it's gone by now. It's been a long time since I've had it. Yeah, if you've done the treatment, I would say if you have salt, add some in there, and then broad spectrum antibiotic. I'm looking to see. Just to be safe. Yeah, I wish I could have found it for you. I'm sorry it didn't pull up. Or didn't pull up. It says it's on that page, but I go to the page that says it's on. Unless I'm missing it in the reading. I don't seize it. Hello, Pride More. I wanted to add shrimp with my beta, who's a Dragon Platinum. He's young. Should I add the shrimp first? So I would say do the shrimp first so that they can get used to the tank. Make sure you have somewhere they can get away. So maybe get one of those like shrimp hideaway thingies that's got the holes in it that they can get in. And then add the beta fish. Keep an eye on him. And just make sure you keep it with feeding. Because if you forget to feed, he might get a little hungry for some shrimp. Is it on here? Yeah, this is the page it told me to go to. And if the broad spectrum antibiotic doesn't work, I would say maybe email somebody that knows more about fish than the rest of us. Hello, Miss Susan from SLC. I hope you're feeling better. I saw you didn't go last week, so I hope you are feeling a little bit better. I will definitely be there tonight. See, I've heard it seems it depends on the fish because I've kept betas with. Okay, well, here's the thing: make sure the shrimp are big enough. If you're getting like little itty bitty caradinas or something or neos, it's not going to work. You're going to want fully grown fish or fully grown shrimp. Otherwise, you're just going to get at it, and you're definitely going to need somewhere they can get away and hide. So, like, I had shrimp with one of those shrimp caves, and it had a bunch of stuff on it, so it could get away. Amano shrimp are definitely a good thing to put with betas because the Amano shrimp are big. They also won't breed in fresh water. That's a good combo to put with betas if you want to try shrimp. Amano shrimp is what I would suggest. Let's see. Linkmaster saying, if you've had experience with betas and angels with guppies, indeed try it. I'm just one of those that being an experience, I'm afraid of making mistakes. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm understandable with that. And sadly, unless you know someone that's done it, you're not going to know unless you try. If the tank is big enough, the angels have a place to go. The beta's got some place to go. You should be okay. Definitely keep an eye on them. But I don't. I've only kept angels for a short time, and I wasn't successful at keeping them. I don't know if it was my water or what was going on. I've dealt with aggressive fish in the form of African cichlids with the beta sorority. The angels should be fine as long as they're not breeding. So if you wanted to just try one, that's okay. I've heard a lot of people that just do one singular angelfish. I would think they need more, but you know. All right, Eduardo, I'm just starting to think you've got jerks for beta fish. Temporarily placed a young female beta with an amount of shrimp tank, and she ate a ton of the molting shrimp. That's wow. See, I didn't have that problem. I also had him in a tall. Was it a short tank? Because I had mine with a tall tank, And the betta fish very rarely ever went to the bottom. So I think it really is going to depend on the betta. But a lot of people recommend shrimp with bettas. So it's going to come down to the fish. Worst case, you're going to end up with 2 tanks if you notice it eating your shrimp. So have an extra 5 on standby for your betta just in case. That's what I'll say. But I know Aquahuna will sell like extra large Amano shrimp. Now, extra large, when I'm saying extra, they were like a good almost 1.5 inches. They were big, like normal, not a normal size Amano. They were a good size Amano shrimp. I don't know what the heck kind they were, but they were decently sized. Like lengthwise, they were bigger than, because I got XLs and regulars. The regulars were about, I'd say the regulars were about 1 inch. The XLs were about 1.75 inches, almost 2. So bigger shrimp are definitely going to work out. You could bamboo shrimp. If you want to do a shrimp with a betta, you get a bamboo shrimp. There's no way the betta is going to eat that. And yes, definitely. Each betta fish has its own personality and is different. So see this tank right here? This has 2 bettas. It's split. I was filling this up once. Forgot about it. The guy on the right got in with the guy on the left. They were maybe together half hour before I noticed it. Both fish were fine. Nobody nipped anybody. Nobody was dead. I didn't even see any flaring. Now, whether it's because there's plants on both sides and they didn't see each other a lot, I was freaking out when I saw that fish in there. I was like, oh my God, what happened? And I immediately got them out of there, but no one was injured. And it could just be because they're older fish and they don't want to, they're past that point with wanting to, attack each other. They're not looking for dominance and to breed. So, that could be a reason, but every fish is different. Can I put bamboo in with? Yes, you can definitely put bamboo in a betta tank. Just remember, bamboo has to be able to get up out of the water. So it's not a fully submerged plant. You have to be able to have the leafy part get up out of the water. So you wouldn't be able to put a lid on your tank, or you need to put it in the back where it can grow up and out. Hope that answers your question. Never had a betta mixed in with other fish, so it'll be the first time experience with me. Well, you're in luck because I've only ever put betta fish with other tank mates. So just keep an eye on the betta fish. Make sure no one's going crazy. Make sure he's not stressed out. If you notice that his fins are starting, deteriorate, or he's getting a little lethargic, he might just be stressed in the tank. Pull the betta, put him in his own tank, keep the lights off, give him some leaves and stuff, and he'll be okay. If you notice your smaller fish go missing, I would say you don't want a fish smaller than 1 inch with a betta. Nothing super tiny. So no chili rasboras, no hummingbird tetras, nothing super microscopic. You're going to want something bigger, wider, and beefier with that betta fish. And unfortunately, we're out of time, y'all. Rico's got a focus on in a half an hour. I don't want to step on his toes. Susan goes at 7. So I'm going to be hanging out on those streams. It's also my mom's birthday, so I can't be on the computer all day. So thank you all for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the format where I, talk about the actual topic for a while with a nice, slideshow and stuff. Next week's Fishie Talk will be Monday night, 8:30 Eastern. We're going to be talking about flower horns with metalheads and Michigan tropicals. We might have somebody else on. I'm not sure. So bring your flower horn questions if you're interested in them. And then I will see you guys on, pull out my calendar. The next Fishie Talk will be on after next week. So the 18th. Then on May 3rd, we're going to have Skull on. We're going to talk Goodeids and other stuff that they got going on. And then I'll be back to tell you guys when the next one is. So if you want to look at flower horns, be here next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And again, Aquaticon, the last weekend of this month. Look into it if you have not already. Thank you all for coming out. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, I'll see you guys around the streams and everything. Thank you all again very much. Bye-bye.